My name is Saxon Roy Parom. My nickname is Sax, a lot of people call me Sax. Saxon Roy Pilom. I'm the founder and director of SATI nonprofit, a nonprofit that works with healthcare and education for at-risk and underserved youth. I'm also a part owner of Broccoli Revolution, a plant-based restaurant, and Na Projects, which is a brand that focuses on creative social impact. So SATI is a nonprofit that I founded about 10 years ago. The focus is on education and healthcare for at-risk and underserved youths. So the two focuses are underserved, which is kids in our countryside. So Chiang Rai, Mae Hong Son, Chiang Mai, Isan. It's preventive care. So we do workshops from sanitation to nutrition to creativity. And in Bangkok, it's at-risk youths, which is kids who are runaways, kids who are in drug abuse, sex trafficking, and that's more counseling and skill building, so job building. So the reason why we work with two groups of kids is to prevent and to treat. So it's kind of like a circular process. So a lot of the kids in the countryside, often they don't realize that they have options, especially the families that are lower income families. So sometimes it's just about teaching them to dream. I think we've come to realize that, especially during COVID, the education system. I think for me, education is the basis for everything. And education doesn't necessarily mean degrees. It means exposure, it means language, it means math, it means life skills. So I think it's become clear that that degree is not always going to be what's going to get you a job or makes you survive in life. So I think that most governments need to focus more on vocational skills. So life skills. So how can we, a child who might not have the financial means to go to university, how can they make a good living for themselves? How can they, open a coffee shop, or how can they have their own business, or how can they support their families? I think it needs to focus more on vocational skills. So if, let's say, they want to be an astronaut or a doctor, an artist, what are the steps for that? And also prevention as far as drug awareness, sanitation, healthcare, because a lot of kids in the countryside don't get the same resources that we do in the city. And in Bangkok, it's kids that are already in trouble, so they've already been in drug abuse, they've already been in prostitution. So how do we pull them away from that? So then ultimately the goal is, on a big picture, is two main things. So one is options. So how do we let kids realize that you have choices? Because sometimes you're born in a community where everything is negative, so you don't realize that you can step away from that. And the second one is empowerment. So if a child is in a abusive family or a family where there's drug abuse, they think that that's their path. So how do we tell them, you have value, you shouldn't do that to your body or your mind, you can do something better. So with workshops, we do everything from dancing to Muay Thai to photography to cooking, many different workshops to help build skill and also build self-confidence. Na Projects, we work with kids in two nonprofits, so both are SATI, which is at-risk youth, and we will also work with Asylum Access Thailand, which is works with urban refugees. So with these two types of groups of kids, we bring them for job training. So in here you can see kids behind the coffee counter training to be baristas. You see kids in the kitchen training to be cooks. So it's about a food and beverage business, so we bring the skills part. And then the environment is surrounded by our menu. So here we'll have different pop-up chefs from all over the world. Right now we have a chef in residence from Peru. He's supposed to leave, but he can't leave because he's stuck here. But he makes Peruvian menu, but it's local ingredients. So my goal is to let people see that Thailand has very good local ingredients, that you can still make these amazing Peruvian dishes using your local ingredients. You reduce carbon, you support local, and you reduce lots of waste that would be from ordering a lot of food. So that through those cooking programs, we have a composting program, we have a zero waste program where no single-use plastic, and we also have we have a indigo vat in the back. So indigo is a fermentation process. So what we do is fermentation needs sugar. So what we do is when we have cold pressed juices here, we have drinks with sugar. When there's leftovers in the glasses, we feed the vat. So then it helps ferment. So it's just a way of trying to figure out a process to have a circular sustainability process. So.